Alright, what is up you guys? I'm here with the 2002 WWE Pay-Per-View DVD Collection. So let's get right into this. We have 15 different DVDs, so let's go right in here. We have Royal Rumble 2002. We have 30 men, 1 match, 1 winner. You actually have a 1 instead of an I, little detail there. Then you have The Rock posing for the cover. And obviously this was when Triple H came back and his long storied win in the Rumble. So we had Edge versus William Regal, Trish Stratus versus Jazz, Vince McMahon versus Ric Flair, no DQ match, and then Chris Jericho versus The Rock for the WWF title, and then your 30-man Rumble match. Taking a look inside, you do have an insert, and you have your disc. Very cool. Nice artwork. You have some interviews as the extras. Next up, we have No Way Out 2002. Very cool NWO on the sign there. And obviously, this is when they made their long-awaited debut. Very cool coloring in the background, too. I really like that. We have Goldust versus RVD. Triple H versus Kurt Angle, #1 contendership. Booker T versus Taz. William Regal and Edge. The Rock versus The Undertaker. And then Chris Jericho versus Stone Cold for the undisputed title. No insert for this one, but very nice artwork. I really like this DVD layout. Alright, next up we have WrestleMania 18. Very, very, very cool cover. Always really like this. And, you know, we have your spine there. Very nice. And then your match listing, we have Goldust versus Maven, hardcore title. DDP and Christian, William Regal and RVD, Edge versus Booker T, Ric Flair versus The Undertaker. I love that match. Kane versus Kurt Angle. You have your tag team match. The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan, of course. Your triple threat women's championship match. And then Chris Jericho versus Triple H for the undisputed WWF title. Mine, unfortunately, does not have the poster inserts. I will be looking to get that eventually. Very nice disc artwork. I really like that. I really, really like that. Say goodbye to WWF because we are going to WWE. With Backlash 2002, we have Triple H on the front there. Very cool coloring there. I always thought that was really cool. One man's journey to stand alone. But we have some nice artwork on the back. We have Billy Kidman versus Tajiri. Bradshaw versus Scott Hall. You have your women's title. Jeff Hardy versus Brock Lesnar. Edge versus Kurt Angle. RVD versus Eddie Guerrero. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. And then Triple H versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the undisputed championship. It actually has some cool little subtitles if you want to pause it there and read them under the matches there. So, opening this up, you have your disc. Very nice. Alright, Insurrextion 2002. Very cool, your UK pay-per-view. And we have Triple H, Taker, Stone Cold, Trish Stratus. But we have your Divas tag team match. Spike Dudley versus William Regal. Hardy Boys versus Shawn Stasiak and Brock Lesnar. Bradshaw versus X-Pac. Steven Richards versus Booker T. Eddie Guerrero and RVD. Stone Cold versus Big Show. And then Triple H versus The Undertaker. So, very nice disc artwork too there. I really like that. Alright, now we have our very rare Judgment Day 2002. I keep it in a wrapper just to keep it nice. Same with my Raw Homecoming. But, alright, so we had the Hardy Boys versus Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Eddie Guerrero versus RVD. Big Show versus Ric Flair versus Stone Cold. Let's say that again. Handicap match, Stone Cold versus Big Show and Ric Flair. There we go. Hair versus hair match, Kurt Angle versus Edge. Chris Jericho versus Triple H inside Hell in a Cell. You have your tag team titles, and then we have Hulk Hogan versus The Undertaker. No insert in this one, just your basic disc artwork, so I'm not going to open it for that. One of my favorite spines, though. Very beautiful. Love that DVD. Alright, next up we have King of the Ring 2002. You have Undertaker. Same picture as Judgment Day. Also, the same picture on Vengeance. So, 3 pay-per-views in a row, we had the same picture of The Undertaker. Interesting. But we have Test versus Brock Lesnar, RVD versus Chris Jericho, semifinals, Ric Flair and Eddie Guerrero, Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus Kurt Angle, RVD versus Brock Lesnar in your King of the Ring final match, and then Undertaker versus Triple H for your WWE title. Very cool disc artwork. We actually have a really nice pamphlet in there for the other advertised DVDs. Another rarity here, Vengeance 2002. We have The Rock, Taker, and Kurt. Very cool spine on that one as well. Me personally, I think it should be pushed up a little bit. I don't know, it looks a little non-symmetrical, but that's just me. Alright, you have your tag team table match. You have Jeff Hardy versus William Regal, John Cena versus Chris Jericho, which is John Cena's first pay-per-view match. RVD versus Brock Lesnar, Booker T versus Big Show in a no DQ match, Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Edge versus Christian and Lance Storm, and then Undertaker versus The Rock versus Kurt Angle in your triple threat match. Very cool artwork there as well for the disc. Alright, next up we have your Australia. It's like the best way I can describe it, it's like a very good house show. It's like a house show on steroids. That's really the best way I could put it. It does have that house show feel to it, but I think it's very enjoyable. The Global Warning Tour, Melbourne, Australia. Okay, we have Rey Mysterio in one of his first pay-per-view appearances. Alright, we have The Rock versus Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. Chris Jericho versus Edge. You have your bra and panties match. Lance Storm and Christian versus Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio. Jamie Noble versus the Hurricane, and then Rikishi versus Rico. There's your artwork. You just get the Australian map. Alright, next up we have SummerSlam 2002. Your big Rock versus Brock match. And this is widely considered to be the greatest SummerSlam of all time. That's based on opinion. But we have Undertaker versus Test, Chris Benoit versus RVD, Edge versus Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle in a great opener, Ric Flair and Chris Jericho. Your non-sanctioned match, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, and then we have The Rock versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE. I almost said WWF, WWE title, and for some reason mine came in an eco case with no insert, so thanks for whoever did that. Alright, next up we have Unforgiven. We have Brock Lesnar on the front there, September 22nd in the background. We have Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit, always put on a great match. Edge versus Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho versus Ric Flair. We have 8-man tag match, and then we have Trish Stratus versus Molly Holly, and then Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker for the WWE Championship. And this was when Brock won after he won the title at SummerSlam, so this was Brock's dominant period, if there ever wasn't a point where he wasn't dominant. Alright, No Mercy 2002, one of my favorite pay-per-views personally. You have the awesome Kane mask. And we have Tori Wilson versus Dawn Marie. You have your World Tag Team titles, RVD versus Ric Flair, Triple H versus Kane, winner-take-all match. You have Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, fantastic. Trish Stratus versus Victoria, and then Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. Amazing, amazing match. So there's your disc artwork. Moving along to Rebellion, same picture as Unforgiven, you can see. But very, very cool cover. I really like this. I think it's really cool. We have Booker T versus Matt Hardy. Intergender tag match. You have Crash versus Funaki. Jamie Noble versus Rey Mysterio and Tajiri for the Cruiserweight title. Rikishi versus Albert. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero. And then Brock Lesnar versus Edge in a handicap WWE Championship match with Paul Heyman tagging with Brock Lesnar. Very cool shop zone. Pretty cool stuff. I always love when they include that. Alright, moving on to also what's considered the greatest Survivor Series of all time. And I think I can attest to that one. But we have your Elimination Chamber debut there. We have Jamie Noble versus Billy Kidman. Trish Stratus versus Victoria. You have your 6-man table match. Triple Threat Elimination WWE Tag Team Championship match. And then your Elimination Chamber World Heavyweight Championship match. Not a single traditional Survivor Series match on here. And I was just watching this one, so the disc is not in there. It's in my Blu-ray player. If I can get this out, show you the really cool poster it comes with. You have RVD, very nice. And then your basic insert. Very cool stuff, I love that. Alright, Armageddon 2002, finally. We have Big Show versus Kurt Angle for the WWE title. And then Shawn Michaels versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight title after Shawn Michaels won it. And that is a 2 out of 3 falls match, or 3 stages of hell, whatever you want to call it. Street fight, steel cage, and then ladder match. We have Chris Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero, Keenan versus Batista, Torrie Wilson and Dawn Marie, 4-way elimination match for the tag titles. Overall, not a bad show. But there you have it. That's actually the end to all my yearly pay-per-view videos. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been 2002. Great year to go back and relive. And this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.